Hey, what's up? I'm Fanboy Philly, and welcome to Fanboy Philly Reviews. Today's movie is Vendetta, starring Clive Standon, Theo Rossi, Bruce Willis, Thomas Jane, and Mike Tyson. Yes, Mike Tyson is in this one. This movie is from 2022, and it's one of the last movies with Bruce Willis since he retired from acting after being diagnosed with aphasia. The story starts out with William Duncan, played by Standon. He and his family are celebrating his daughter Kat's 16th birthday and discussing her softball team, and she's being scouted by colleges. Her parents want her to be more focused on her studies, but she tells them she'll be able to do both. Then we cut to mobster Donnie Fetter, played by Willis, killing a man who feels he betrayed him. His two sons walk in, Rory and Danny, played by Theo Rossi and Cabot Bastine. He asks Danny if he's sure he's ready, and Danny says that he's ready. Rory also steps up and says that Danny is ready. Donnie hands Danny a gun and they take off. The next day, William picks up his daughter from softball practice and they go to get tacos. While William is in the restaurant getting the tacos, the Fetter boys pull up. Them and their boys drag Kat out of the car. She says, I have no money. I have no money. Danny says he didn't want her money. He just wants her soul. So he shoots her as part of his gang initiation into the family business. And at the sound of the gunshots, William runs out to see what happened. And he is also shot and wounded. And then Danny is left in the street and is arrested. At the hospital, they are told that Kat has died. Then we see William in a meeting with someone from the DA's office who tells him that the case is flimsy at best, as it's his word against Danny's. Dante is somebody else. So at the trial, William shocks everyone by testifying he cannot 100% be sure that it was Danny, so Danny goes free. Then we see Donnie tell Danny he's a man now. Then one night, Danny is out hanging out by one of the Fetter's clubs, and with the help of one of the Fetter's working girls, Will finds Danny, hits him with his car, and then beats him to death with a softball bat. Rory and his boys show up at Donnie's club so Rory can get Donnie his payment collection. Rory's a little late and he's very short on money in the payments. And we learn that their relationship is not a good one. News gets back to the Fetters about Danny getting killed. Rory goes to the scene where he runs into Detective Chen, who is very familiar with not only the Fetters but also the trial. Detective Chen goes to Will's house to question him about where he was at the time of the murder. And he says he was at home, and is quickly backed up by his wife. But when Detective Chen leaves, she asks Will where he really was. Rory then finds out from the working girl that a guy was asking her questions and was wanting to know about Danny. And Rory shows her a picture of Will, and she says, yeah, that's the guy. Rory and his crew attack Will, but he fights back and gets away. His wife calls Detective Chen, who discovers that Will is ex-military. And then he puts a car outside Will's house for safety. Then we are introduced to Dante. Yes, this one is Dante. Dante is played by Thomas Jane. He has supplied cars for Roach, played by Tyson, who is in turn supplying the cars for other people. But he can't pay Dante just yet. And in the meantime, gives him some cash and a bag of guns. Donnie and Rory show up at Will's house, shoots Will's wife, killing her, and then shoots Will, leaving him for dead. Will leaves the hospital on his own and checks into a motel where he meets Dante. And the two strike up a conversation where Dante finds out that he is up against the Fetters, whom he has also had dealings with. He sells Will the bag of guns, a jacket, and a car. Thus begins the war between Will and the Fetters. This is the classic revenge story where both sides are trying to get even the score and destroy the other one. The story's pretty similar to The Punisher, which is kind of interesting as Thomas Jane, who plays Dante, also played The Punisher in 2004. That was a good movie as well. At first, I was a little bit gun-shy with this one, Especially when I saw it was another Redbox production, and I didn't care for the last Redbox production I watched. The action scenes are entertaining and move the story along. We have always seen Bruce Willis more in the hero role, but he puts forth a really good performance as the crime boss and villain in this one. He has also stepped back a little bit to put the focus on the younger performers. I'm not familiar with Clive Standon and Theo Rossi, but they both gave good performances in this movie as they are the ones seeking revenge for loved ones. Thomas Jane is great as the opportunistic helper who smells the money, but at the same time wants to help a guy out, especially with his issues with the fetters. He puts a southern style and the street talk to make himself believable as a low-level hood. Even Tyson surprisingly put forth a good performance. I was expecting something a little more goofy, but I thought he did a really good job, even though his performance was very brief. And I actually wanted to see more Tyson in this. There haven't been a lot of movies over the last several years that I would go back and watch again. This is definitely one that I would go back and watch, especially since it's one of the last movies for Bruce Willis, whom I've been a fan of ever since his day on the show Moonlighting. And if you aren't familiar with the show Moonlighting, it's a detective show that Bruce Willis was on back in the 80s. And that's streaming on Hulu now. So if you get a chance, give that a try. I think you'll like it. Thanks again for joining me on this one. And remember, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the show, hit the like button, and ring the bell to be notified whenever I post more videos. And as always, take care of yourselves and be good to the ones you love. And I'll see you later.